Hi, I'm Tracy Gilchrist. We are living in dangerous times. According to the FBI's 2021 hate crime statistic report, there were more than 10,000 hate crimes reported in the U.S. 20% of those crimes were based on sexual orientation and gender identity. The Advocate has reported on the attacks happening on LGBTQ+ spaces like Drag Queen Story Hour, but there are still safe spaces. Speak Out is a nonprofit that represents more than 6,000 same-gender-loving men and women of color. Speak Out aims to be a safe space for the LGBTQ+ community using social media engagement, mentorship, personal empowerment, and health awareness. I recently spoke with Speak Out's founder and executive director, Antonio Driver, about the work they're doing at this critical time in our country.
Yeah, we are in a really interesting time. A lot that's happening in Florida with, just a lot of banning of books, banning, of drags. I think that it's just really crucial that we make ourselves more present, we make our voices heard. I think that the work that we do is we're going to need multiple organizations to join forces because some of these laws, they may not appear like they're going to affect us on a mass, but it's going to really, HIV rates will go up, suicide rates will go up, all of these things that the adverse effect of some of these laws that are trying to take place are going to really have a negative impact on the community at large.
Yeah, thank you. And I wonder, I know that Speak Out does some work around workplace safety and protections. Would you go into that a little bit? Like even, the campaigns for, say, I am an ally, et cetera.
Yeah, so we do. So what we do is, and what we have done is, we would go in and we would partner with the HR or diversity and inclusion team, and we would work with that staff in giving them training on how to support individuals who identify somewhere in the LGBTQIA plus community. We would offer pamphlets. We would come in and offer some type of mediation if that needed to be. And we also would just be a tool if they call and they just need someone to just put on a proposal. But normally we would go in for an entire day. Sometimes it's a 2-day training and we work with the entire staff. We give scenarios, role plays, and just a handbook of just how to, navigate yourself. And that's for the individual and also for the employer.
Yeah. Yeah. When you go into a workplace and give some of these trainings, what's it been like? How is the response from employers and employees who are not LGBTQ plus?
Yeah, it's all different. And what one of the things that I've learned is that it has a lot to do with individuals' exposure and background. Oftentimes, we will be met with the resistance or, the giggles and the laughs until we put them in situations and they can hear from individuals, because we don't just come along. We always make sure we bring someone who represents, every letter, from a trans person or a lesbian person or a non-binary, because as a black gay man, I only can speak from that aspect. But having someone in the room and speaking to the employees or engaging with them then opens their eyes. So I think that it's a learning experience and it's an exposure. There's always been, with the communities that we have worked with, we have been able to open doors, and they seem to like it. And from the reports that we hear, it's always a positive, a positive, healthy, growing relationship with those employees and employers.
Great. And currently, there are no federal protections for LGBTQ plus people. That would be under the Equality Act if that were to pass. Would you
Yeah.
talk about the importance of having these federal protections?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think that the equality, it's so important because you're going to face challenges with just people feeling safe at work. We're just dealing with people who may be married, who can potentially be fired. I think that it's going to. I don't think that there is one area that it will. No one, in my opinion, will be as safe as we think. Um,
Right.
I think that it's a really scary thing, And it's so big for me to like try to tackle in one piece because it just depends on where you are in your field. Some jobs aren't, it's like, hey, that's what they're doing, but here we are. So we are presenting ourselves and going into these workplaces and trying to educate them, because one of the things that I think is important, especially if you're working in HR, if you have a good employee, sustainability is really good. And regardless of how someone identifies, if they can't feel comfortable, they're not going to stay in your workplace.
Yeah, incredible. Well, thank you for that. And so you have the I Am Awards coming up,
Yes.
and you have an honoree, Hope Giselle. And would you talk a bit about the process in choosing Hope as this year's honoree?
Hope was it was very easy. So one of the things that takes place is that we this is our second annual one, and so the board of directors of this organization and then the past honorees make nominations and we vote. But when it came to Hope, it wasn't any question. She's always a large voice in the community. She's a huge trans right advocate. She does a lot with a lot of corporations where she goes in and also works with these companies and major corporations around like working with trans and just LGBT rights in general. And so she's just been a beacon and a light and a hero to some.
Yeah, great. Well, and would you share when are the I Am Awards, and what can people look forward to with those?
Oh, so they are taking place this Saturday, April 22nd, right here in Washington, D.C. at the Grand Hyatt. Some of the things that you can look forward to is like great, obviously great entertainment, a lot of different talent from some of your individuals, from some of your big LGBT advocates and celebrities like your Patrick N. Polk. We have Judge Mathis, who's a huge ally of the community. His son will be present. We have, Cam Anthony is a singer, won The Voice. So just to name a few that will be in the room, the cast of Noah's Ark, which was a big show
Huge.
from early 2000s, they're going to be there. So there's a lot of different LGBT leaders that will be in there and that will be present, will be honored for their work in advocacy, performance, entertainment, or just political.
Yeah. Terrific. And we often talk about the anti-LGBTQ plus sentiment, the moves by right-wing politicians to erase queer people and Black history. And I wonder, would you talk a little bit about the role of joy and in celebrating with the I Am Awards?
Yeah, the I Am Awards came about simply what you've said is that we want to feel acknowledged. There are so many individuals who are doing amazing things in the community that don't get acknowledged. And I believe that if we don't do it, no one will. And so this is a space to, one, encourage us because we have a long road ahead of us, but also to acknowledge those who have done great work and are doing great work, is saying, we see you, we want to see more of you. This is something the community now is striving to, get. I want to be acknowledged at the I Am Awards, and they're doing great work. And so this is just a stepping stone to getting us where we really want to be, where we need to be. It does feel like we are going back in time a little bit, but this awards kind of like reminds us of, hey, we've come too far to like let up on different things. So we're going to acknowledge our people and continue to acknowledge them.
Thank you, Antonio Driver, for the work that you're doing with Speak Out. Again, the I Am Awards is the biggest Black queer excellence celebration in Washington, D.C. The Black Tie Gala is being held at the Grand Hyatt Hotel and will be hosted by Nico Annan and Jack Mizrahi. Honorees include Poses, Twiggy Garcon, and The Voice winner, Cam Anthony. Thank you for watching. Like the Advocate channel on Facebook to get updated stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights, and more.